a system approaching perfection.
We'll walk deeper into the belly of the beast if it means I'm able to...
All right, guys, this is Danny. I'm here at Pork Fest number 15 in 2018, and I'm here with Jeffrey Tucker, who does all kinds of amazing things, especially the embassy. I'm really interested in the embassy.
Yeah, the embassy. It's a full functioning social community at this point, social technological training community. And we do hold classes all the time on all kinds of crypto things. You know, whether it's mining or blockchain technology or covering the latest crypto assets or regulatory issues. And we offer free classes and paid classes, 101 classes, which we offer every couple of weeks, and so on and so on and so on. But we've got all that. But what I like the most is that it's a great social hangout. And I think people underestimate this. You know, we have this like weekly cocktail hour on Wednesdays where we provide free wine and beer. And it sounds like, oh, so you have a cocktail hour, so what? Hey, guess what? It attracts people from all over the region who are interested in crypto, and they can exchange ideas, exchange business cards, and a lot of good things have happened at that event.
Right, and it's nice to have like a physical location where people can come.
You gotta have it.
I went to the crypto space in LA, and it's kind of the same thing. Actually, Doug has one of his ATMs there.
They opened up after us, and I think it was partially inspired by the embassy.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the idea because I went to Tel Aviv and loved that embassy. I was like, wow, this is what you want. You want a place to go.
And we're planning on doing it in Austin. We want to team up with you. Actually, we're going to have a location in Austin that was the owner of Brave New Books is going to open a bar, restaurant type thing, and it's going to be all crypto. We'll have ATMs and the whole bit. Same ATM that you guys are.
It's a great machine, and our fees are like 5%. Versus 20% out in the rest of the city. I mean, our city has about 60 ATMs, but we're the one that charges the least and has the most options.
All right. Do you have like outreach to just the general community to try to get them in to learn how to set up wallets or things like that? We're doing this as well in Phoenix. There's a pizza place called Classic Crust Pizza, and this guy's set up his own Lightning node and everything, and it's just like the central hub. So we bring everybody there.
Yeah, we've got Lightning nodes running, and we've got mining equipment. And the point about setting up wallets is extremely important. I mean, some of your listeners might be like, why would you need to help somebody do that? All they have to do is look through the App Store. But guess what? People really do need to be kind of helped through it. And I've made it a major mission. Like, let me just quickly tell a story. For example, so Atlanta, we now have crypto groupies who just hang around at all the events. So we've got 2 big meetups, and we've got our cocktail hour, and at our opening party we had 250 people there. That was just a couple of weeks ago. It was huge. Roger Ver came in and spoke, and it was just fantastic. But there was this woman there, and she wanted to meet for lunch. I said, great. So we met for lunch, we were talking about it. She kept asking all these questions about crypto. And, if you're in the space long enough, you kind of recognize the difference between somebody who really knows and some people who are just talking. Yeah. And I just kind of had the feeling that she didn't have any skin in the game. And so I said, by the way, do you own any crypto at all? And she goes, no. I said, well, why not? And then she just like paused, and she was out of frustration. She goes, because nobody has told me how to set up a wallet. So I said, all right, cut. Let's just stop what we're doing right now. Put down your knife and fork, and let's do this thing. And,
and at a place where they can actually use it is a great, like I was saying about the pizza shop, they accept it there, so we can open a wallet for them, we give them a little bit of crypto, and then we let them buy a beer or a slice of pizza.
Exactly.
And they get to see it used, and then they really kind of grasp it. Oh, it's that easy.
I totally agree. It's better than all the lectures and all the books and everything. Just experiencing that use. Wherever I go, that's what I do. I was just at the Action University. I was at the Action University, and there was all these people that were skeptical. And people come up to the weird questions, things, and I just stop them and say, "Hey, let me give some Bitcoin right now." And it doesn't matter. You can give them 50 cents, $1, $2, $100. Doesn't matter. What matters is that they experience that feeling of exchange. And then I ask them if I'll send them $5, I'll say, hey, send me back $2.50. And so they do that, and we just play. Yeah. If you can just play like that, it's like, oh my God, now I see this is the future. Yeah. That's all it really takes.
Another thing, a story that I always try to tell with new people is I will take Bruce Fenton's son as an example. He's 8 years old, he wants to start a business so he can get a computer for his gaming. So his dad helps him set up the business, and then he says, set up a bank account. Well, I can't.
Right.
Well, guess what? He set up a Bitcoin wallet just like that. Didn't need an ID. He's 8 years old. No one tells him that he can't open his own, bank account.
That's right.
Through Bitcoin, and now he's in business on the internet. And it's the same for people all around the world. And I think when they kind of get that, then there's like, oh, now here's another use case. It's everyone is allowed to do commerce on the internet without going and kissing the bank's
human
ass.
rights. Banks are vetting people for whether or not your profession is right, whether you're engaged in the right kind of thing, you have the right kind of identity, whether your credit is good,
Right.
and blah, blah, blah. There's all these hoops to jump through.
Yeah.
And in a place like Atlanta, I think we have about 40% of the population that's completely unbanked. Well, that doesn't mean that they don't want to engage in commerce.
Yeah. In Mexico, it's 52%.
Really?
Of 52% of the population in Mexico don't have bank accounts.
Yeah.
So that's an entire country, not just a suffering city. Let's talk about your proposal. I'm a Dash proposal owner. Mine's not in effect right now, but over the past year and a half, I've had several proposals. And you want to bring Dash to the embassy.
I do. And, maybe part of the question might be, well, it's the Atlanta Bitcoin Embassy. Why would you bring Dash in? The reason I called it the Atlanta Bitcoin Embassy was partially it was an homage to the Tel Aviv Bitcoin Embassy. But more than that, that's the brand that everybody knows.
Yeah.
But we are sort of, how would you say, ecumenical with regard to cryptos. And we're promoting everything and anything. But Dash is particularly wonderful for us because there's an ideological component to Dash. It's part of the culture to believe in freedom. Yeah. And we believe in freedom. And from the very beginning, we just, like I say, fully opened up a couple of weeks ago. We've been informally open since February. We wanted Dash to be part of this. And we want to be instrumental in promoting Dash adoption in Atlanta, where there's like almost no presence for Dash in Atlanta. Atlanta's a very big crypto city. It's a place that needs Dash, and the brand is so cool. I think in an urban population like Atlanta has, it'll really catch fire. We also have a lot of universities, so the idea is that we want to just basically set up adoption wallet, Dash wallet adoption in universities, Georgia Tech, Georgia State University, Emory, and so on. There's probably a dozen or so.
I find it pretty easy to actually talk to people about Dash and still talk about other cryptocurrencies because it's not so much like I'm trying to do the hard sell on Dash.
Right.
I will talk about other cryptocurrencies first and then tell them about Dash and how the DAO works and everything like that, because people bring up things like the Silk Road and it's only used for drugs. So I took that idea.
Saying that.
Yeah. So I took that idea, and what we do, I don't know if you see the Jeep over this is Dash Cares. So this is this little thing that we do outside of our radio show, where I go to hurricanes and I go down to Mexico, and I just help people using Dash. Just to get kind of positive press. I'm literally building houses in Mexico in the earthquake zone using Dash. And that hasn't happened with any other cryptocurrency. In fact, can you think of any cryptocurrency that has their name on a government building yet?
No.
Well, Dash is fixing to have their name on a government building in Mexico.
So perfect. That's so perfect.
Yeah.
No, I think there's real potential, and I think a Dash needs to be at the Atlanta Bitcoin Embassy because we have a full-scale, fully operating, massive network and a real social community for people to go. And part of the idea of Dash is it's branded to be personal and to have a service element to it. And the embassy is the same way. To us, it's not just about technology.
So I was in the same room you were at Libertopia, and I seen you kind of have an aha moment. What was that?
Oh, during the Dash panel?
Yeah. Were you aware of completely how the DAO worked and everything?
No, I wasn't, and so that was completely brilliant to me. And the comparison to one of the reasons that Bitcoin adoption has been slow is that people don't have a sense of who they can call, or there's no accountability.
1-800-BITCOIN or whatever.
Yeah. So I like the way the Dash government structure is set up in in a different way that allows a difference in choice. And,
Yeah.
I love this idea because it's kind of like a polycentric legal order. We're experimenting around with new structures, and so I just love the structure.
I've often called it Bitcoin with customer service, and they're literally actually adding a tech support line for Dash in some aspects. I don't recall exactly what that was, but I don't know. Justin, do you remember there's going to be a customer service line with Dash? How does that work?
Yeah, there's a customer support help desk in Venezuela, and there's also Dash Embassies in Germany. So two.
There's Dash Embassies already?
Yeah, they just opened the
Wow,
second office.
that's
One
so
in
great.
Germany, one in Austria.
So that's huge. There's a help desk that you can go to.
Yeah, I love the idea because I think our whole future is bound up with crypto at this point, not just in terms of money, but in terms of just the way we conduct our lives. And I like the idea of a market for these for new forms of governance in the crypto community. And so the Dash is kind of brilliant to me. I mean, I was taken aback and completely just blown away by that panel, and I just hadn't really had a chance to check it out that much. I think the first time I was introduced to Dash, Amanda had given me a shirt back in I think it was at Anarchapulco, maybe the very first it was like several years ago, and I took it home and I wore it around just because I thought it was so cool. But I didn't bother to look into it. So being a Libertopia was amazing for me.
Right. Getting back to the embassy. How would somebody link up with you and get their city as an embassy, or open an embassy in their city?
Well, so we're not franchising it or anything like that, but we do have a great deal of experience now in kind of the steps. I think we accidentally took all the right steps. We got a place, tried to figure out what the community needed, experimented around with various strategies, built website, built social, put the entire infrastructure in place. And I think if people just follow these steps, they're gonna have success. I mean, I think the embassy has to function a little differently in every city. And the other thing I would encourage anybody who's looking at embassies, we have to be broad-minded. I mean, these kind of the civil war that's taking place in the crypto community on Twitter, we just need to avoid that nonsense completely. We believe in choice in crypto, essentially, and the Atlanta Bitcoin Embassy. I mean, some people, I've had core people say, "Oh, it's the Bitcoin Cash Embassy." Look, we're just there to promote crypto understanding and use and adoption of crypto in general. And Bitcoin is the most known brand, and we all love Bitcoin, but it's not to the exclusion of other things.
How would you describe your proposal and what you're offering to Dash for sponsoring?
We want to teach people about Dash and promote wallet downloads and use and merchant adoption, and have Dash in particular as a kind of entryway point for the student population in Atlanta. And really just get the name Dash out there in this very important city where blockchain technology is all the rage. I mean, it seems to me Dash needs to be a presence, and I think
this has actually happened before. There were some students that did this on another campus. I forget what was the camp. Do you remember the campus where the kids did kind of outreach?
I can't recall it right now.
I don't know. I think it was Minnesota or something like that. But they actually had a proposal in it on campus, and some of the students got together, and they were well funded, and they were opening wallets left and right with all of the students. And
I mean, like if the proposal goes through, the very first thing we're going to hold is a complete Dash evening where we take the entire community. Like say, we now have, I don't know, you can check it on Meetup, but we may have as many as 1,000 people on our meetup.com. So this would be the first thing right out would be to hold a complete Dash, evening and have, a Dash wallet downloads.
I'm thinking it would be really cool if you did have like other cities join you, and on certain nights, everybody, you could have like a mass Skype in where decentralize the meetup where it's multiple cities joining in.
We could do that kind of thing, and we actually, it's so amazing with AV technology like we have now, and a meeting space like ours where we can hold 300 people essentially. Yeah. We put Roger Ver up on a huge screen. It was just like he was there. We had a Q&A with the guy. Yeah. So we're doing more of those kind of things.
Awesome. Is there any final thoughts on your
yeah, I mean, let me just say this, that I've always believed about crypto that it's more than a technology. It really is about human connection, and that's the reason I set up the embassy, is to provide this community element that I think we've lacked so far. And as we mature, we have to have physical spaces, and I really want to invite Dash to be an integral part of that community that we already have set up in Atlanta. And we need the funding, we need to keep the lights on, and we need to keep drawing people in. And I think it's up to this generation to do it. If we don't do it, we're missing a chance.
I mean, Venezuela is a really good example of how Dash funding has really expanded the use.
Yeah.
Portsmouth, New Hampshire, more people accept Dash than Bitcoin. And more people use Dash than Bitcoin. And then here at PorcFest, the majority of the sales, if you ask one of the merchants right across here, the majority of the sales have been Dash because they're just doing it.
It's a great symbol and a great brand and a great currency, and I love using it, and I want more people to use it.
Right. For me, I started off promoting Bitcoin, and I was not rewarded to do that. I just did it because I believed in it. And then along came Dash. I'm able to quit my other job and do this full time, and so my income is 100% in cryptocurrency at this point.
Yeah.
So
I have a lot of friends in that same situation, and it's awesome how it's changing the world. But I do believe that we need people with boots on the ground, with that commitment to push the idea, to help people adopt, to integrate people's lives into this to the crypto world. It's not just about abstractions. It really is about human connection and ownership.
Awesome. I'm sure if Mark Mason was over here, he would ask you to say, "Stay dashy."
Stay dashy. Stay dashy. I like that. That's funny.
All right, man.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
All right.